Noah here from American Trucks, and we're checking out the AMP Research bed step for the 21 and newer F-150. Sometimes you need to reach in the bed to get something awkward to lift, or maybe you're just like me and the step on the factory bumper is too high for you to reach with skinny jeans on. Either way, a bed step from AMP Research is a great addition to any F-150 if you use your bed to haul stuff. Right off the bat, this step is pretty sturdy and it folds away really nicely. Sometimes steps and running boards can look really bulky and awkward hanging down the side, but the really neat thing about this step is that it folds right up underneath the bumper, pretty much entirely out of sight. It's also gloss black, so it sort of blends in with everything underneath the truck as well, and it doesn't draw any attention to itself. And since this guy mounts right underneath the bumper, it's totally usable with the tailgate down or when you have a trailer attached as well. As far as construction goes, this guy is made out of aluminum and it's pretty burly, but it's lightweight and low profile and can still support up to 300 pounds with ease, which I think is pretty impressive, and it does retract on precision stainless steel pins with self-lubricating bushings, and those are going to guarantee that the retraction function will never need maintenance. Everything is finished in a super strong black powder coat, so this thing will stay looking nice for a long time, and it comes with a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty. Coming in around $340, this AMP Research step is definitely more expensive than a hitch step or a bed ladder, but it has a lot more function than some other designs, and clearly some thought has been put into the design of this guy. If you're looking for ease of access to your bed that doesn't get in the way of your truck's other functions, then spending a bit more on a bed step like this will definitely be worth it in the long run. You're looking at an install difficulty of only 1 out of 3 wrenches and an hour install time. Everything you need for the install is included with the kit, so it really shouldn't be too much trouble at all. Here's an AT customer that installed this step on their F-150, and they're gonna walk you through that process step by step.
For the installation of the AMP Research bed step, I used a 24mm 1/2-inch deep dish socket and ratchet, Torx wrench, 13mm open end box end, 13mm socket, 15mm socket, long extension, T20 Torx wrench, and a Torx bit on the socket, and a large screwdriver. Okay, for this portion we are going to assemble the brackets in preparation for going out to the vehicle. 2 bracket portions here. Place this to the bottom with the lip. This will be your bottom piece. Looks like this. This comes over the top. This is important to make sure the back holes align properly. And we'll be using the 13mm nut, bolt and nut. It's important to not tighten this all the way down. This is going to need to remain finger tight. At best, you're going to want it pretty loose. Make sure everything fits together. Put over to the other side. Next step is to get the extending arm mounted onto the bracket and the side bracket mounted as well. They all come together right at this little end. So I've marked the 2 holes that we'll be using. Those 2 holes will line up with the holes on this extending arm. And we'll be using the 15mm bolts on this bracket. And this bracket will only go through one of the holes. Place like this, it will not work for the 21 F-150, so it will be just going through this hole right here. One of the tricks is to get these holes lined up properly. With the moving brackets, these holes have to be lined up well for the bolts to come through. One way I've found that works pretty well is I hang the bracket over like this, and then I start the bolts into a hole like this. It seemed to work out pretty well. This one here, we'll use the hole on the left in the bracket. Align it. Make sure we get these started through. Now that we've got them started through, see them there, we'll place this bracket on the bottom. Lining up the two holes like this. Note the arm is extending back that direction. And we'll tighten these up. These again, you do not want to go beyond snug. We're going to want flexibility as we're installing in the truck. Here I'm using a 15mm socket to snug these up. All right. Now we're ready to go to the truck. All right, we're now down underneath the truck. We're on the driver's side. In the back of the bumper mounting brackets, we will need to remove the middle and the top nut on the main mounting bracket. And then we will need to remove this bolt on the far end bracket. Far end bolt is a 13mm. Off. We'll need to completely remove it. Okay, got that one removed. Now over to the large nuts. This is a 24mm. I do have a deep dish socket that I'll be using. All right, now we've got both of those removed. We are ready to bring in the bracket assembly and start the installation. All right, with all the nuts and the bolt removed, we are ready to place the bracket in place. Now, I would make sure that this side bracket is turned around facing the back of the vehicle so that it can match up to this hole just fine once we get it all in place. Bracket slides over the nuts here. Reach up inside here and get the nut started. What I'm doing is I'm sliding the nut into the deep dish socket. The nut won't go through the hole, but the socket will. And that allows me to get it up there and get it started. I don't want to tighten these down until I get everything in place. Okay. And making sure that I don't have any of the wire looms pinched in between the brackets. That might be good. Luckily, I can get this 13mm socket with a long extension up here. So that's very, very nice to be able to get that. All right. Cinch these down just a little bit. Next step is to tighten down the bolts on the top of the extending arm. For that, I'm using a 15mm socket. I can just get right up here on the top side. All right. Great. Next up, the last two bolts holding the two bracket halves together. We'll get those tightened up next. All right, for these brackets, we're gonna need 13 millimeter. We need a wrench, and we'll need a socket with a long extension. Next, we'll be mounting on the step plate. All right, we're now working on the last step. We have the step plate here. We place it around the top of this. Just these areas here that'll fit into the recessed areas here. So we'll just place this there. It fits in real nice and snug. Close it up. All right, what I did was I went and got a T20 Torx socket ratchet. It's probably gonna work quite a little bit better here.
That was the AMP Research bed step for the 21 and newer F-150. For all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.